up to the cliff and hang my stand there. The cliff is a big funnel between the bedding areas, so I think that's going to be the killer spot today. I already had this little 4-point or whatever he is cruise through. I've seen him the past 3 days. He's doing exactly what I expected on the east wind. He's cruising the downwind side of this property. There's another doe out in the field as I'm talking, so I've got to keep it quiet. As soon as she leaves, and if I don't hear anything in the next few minutes, I'll let the wind pick up a little bit and I'll move up there to the cliff to hang my set. It's about an hour after shooting light. Doe and the fawn moved out of the field, right down the lane towards the cliff. So I'm hoping they bed right off there. If I can get up there quiet enough to get my stand set, I should have a pretty crazy day. I've really got a good feeling about that area. Set up a pretty decent tree. It's about the best you can get here. I think this is going to pan out to be a sweet spot. Zach's dad has hunted here in the past, and I've seen a lot of buck movement through here, and I followed a scrape line all the way in. I wish there was better access to here, but there's just not. It's basically a point. The cliff comes to a point, and the inside of that point is pines. On the outside is this real thick stuff right below the cliff. So they bed on both sides of this, but mostly down below. Got a picture of Gimpy coming up here on October 8th. Just in the background of the picture, you can see him walking right up this trail. There's rub line going right down to the main trail off the cliff. And there's a scrape line as well. The food plot's over to my left, and the other food plot's over to my right, so that everything's coming together right here. It's a giant funnel. And there's really just one trail off this cliff. When deer come up off this cliff, they should be behind this big tree behind me. So I should have time to draw or get the camera set. And it should put about a 20 to 30 yard shot for me. So I'm going to sit tight today. I'm going to get aggressive later, try some rattling and stuff. I think it's a great spot to do it because they just can't get that wind to me. The wind's blowing way out over this valley. And it should bring it right in my laps. We'll see what happens. real nice book. I think he's a 10 point. Wow. So he kept following her around. I thought he was like locked up with her or something. Then another little buck came in and he went off to chase him off. All of a sudden, this buck we call that 8, I think it's who it was. Started chasing the doe up towards me, so I thought it was the big buck chasing the doe up towards me. And they started hauling it up the hill, and I can't see him until I get right in my shooting lane, so I whipped the camera around, drew back, and they went flying through, and I couldn't even get him stopped. And thank God it wasn't the big one, it was that one we call that 8. He's just a 2-year-old or 3-year-old. Big boy's still down there though. I look back down and he's down there making a rub. He's been pacing around. I don't know if he bedded down now or what, but there's another doe and I'm yearling with her right down below me. So it's just a matter of time before he gets up, checks out what's going on there. I don't know what to do yet. I'm just going to stay patient because I honestly have no idea what's going on down there. I wish I could see him right now, but I can't. But turns out the cliff is where they come up into the vines, so let's hope if he decides to chase one of those does, he's in my lap, and let's hope he stops. Smiling for a bad reason. I don't know if that shot was good. It came out of nowhere, man. I heard him run into that thicket and he hasn't moved since. He grunted once. Gotta watch the film back. God, the doe just popped up out of nowhere. And there he was. The one I've been watching all day. I'll watch the film back and see what happens.
All right, well, a nice turn of events happened. So basically what happened today was I did a hang and hunt on this cliff where we've actually never hunted before. I sat down, I said, let's just get back to the basics. I'm gonna hunt a funnel in between two bedding areas on the downwind side. And it turned out to be the craziest hunt of my life. I got up on top of this cliff and I could see all the way down on the bottom this side and that side. And first thing this morning, I saw a doe come in, and she was acting real weird, and this guy came in behind her, and I could tell that they were together right away. He was running other bucks off all day. You know, I lost him and the doe for a little while, probably about 2 or 3 hours, and I saw a couple other bucks. About 4 o'clock, the doe worked up into the other food plot, and I saw a big body come up behind her, and I got a little footage, but I couldn't tell what it was. And they popped out in this food plot over here, right beside me. So they worked down to this thicket behind me for about another hour or so. I saw another buck come through, and so I knew this doe had something going on with her. So he ended up staying with her, and about 5:15, I heard something behind me, and I turned around. I saw a doe like 15 yards behind me, and so I looked down and I slowly turned the camera around, and as I looked in the viewfinder, I saw antlers, and I did a double take, and I looked down over my shoulder, and there he was on the edge of the cliff making a rub, and I thought, well, here's my chance. Drew, took the shot, and it was 17 yards. After the shot, I felt pretty bad. I honestly thought I just shoulder shot him because it didn't really get that much penetration. Watched the footage back, I called Dad. Dad came out, and we looked it over, and I thought there was no way I was going to find him. I thought it was a shoulder shot. Sure enough, the arrow was probably about 10 yards away from where he was hit. We both looked down the hill in disbelief and saw a leg, and there he was, piled up 40 or 50 yards from where I shot him. I could not be happier. This is definitely probably one of the biggest bucks I've ever seen. First buck with a bow, first solo hunt, or solo filmed hunt, and I could not be happier.